What's up, everybody? Back again, Casual Comic Cast.
Stealing my line, I thought I was going to do the intro, but I'm okay with that.
Wes Fontaine here with majority of Marvel's news, which...
It's a light news day for you today.
Light news day. Don't have too much.
You do have a big thing, but we'll talk about that once we start here. I'm Matt Staten, of course, your DC side of the news here on the Casual Comic Cast. And where are we starting? Marvel or DC? Because DC gave a butt-ton of Justice League news these past 2 weeks, so I think we could end with that because I could go on and on with how much I got.
It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. I guess we could start with the fact of... Start with this little thing. So,
what we got?
Sony, we released. You probably actually can't see this. So
I mean, Sony released.
We released it. We own Sony now. The Casual Comic Cast bought out Sony.
No, we
no.
didn't.
Anyways, that's not what I was trying to say, folks. That's just Anyways, the point is, they released the Spider-Man Legacy Edition.
Now is this? Yes, it is. Okay.
So it comes with the original Spider-Man trilogy. I believe actually this is the case for the Amazing Spider-Man, but nonetheless, this is the steelbook for the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, I believe. No, this is the original trilogy. I am a liar. Do not quote me.
Never do. We should never be quoted.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the original trilogy. Number one, so not too bad.
So that's
number two.
That's the case for the original trilogy.
Number three.
So that's the steelbook. And then we have this is the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 steelbook. And so there you go. That's a little look at those.
Yep.
And what's nice about this is one, you get all 5 of the original takes of Spider-Man.
Yep.
Get
you ready for Homecoming, that's for sure.
Yeah, get you in the Spider-Man spirit. And it comes with, now disc-wise, I don't believe if it comes with, I think it might come with 2.1 for Spider-Man 2, but digitally I did activate the code for the original trilogy for my Voodoo account.
Oh, so you got...
Non-sponsored, just I had Voodoo. But anyway, so I activated the code, and it came with 4 movies.
Really?
It came with the original Spider-Man, just that's that. The original Spider-Man 2, and then it came with Spider-Man 2.1.
What's that exactly?
I believe it's like an extended or like an edited cut. I haven't watched it yet, but that actually released like years ago or a while back.
Well, that would be interesting at least.
And then I got Spider-Man 3, but it was the editor's cut, which that is something that was actually unique to this release. And they added it in.
Did they never release
Plus
it?
all new Spider-Man 3 editor's cut.
Okay then.
So you have to get this. I believe you have to get this. Maybe they did release a Spider-Man trilogy set, so it's possible it came with that too. But I'm pretty sure you have to get this in order to get it, unless you buy it through Voodoo or somewhere digitally. Disc-wise, I'm pretty sure you have to. It's bundled in with this.
Now I'm sure the editor's cut does not help the fact that Topher Grace as Eddie Brock does not make a good combination.
From what because I watched that. I did watch that.
Oh, you watched the editor's cut?
In order to get ready to try to talk about it a little bit briefly during this video. So I did watch it.
How was it?
Hi,
Fly. Welcome to the Casual Comic Cast.
I did watch it. It didn't really seem like there was anything that majorly different with me, from my point of view. I think there were some scenes that were in the trailer that they added in that they had taken out from the original film. So they added those scenes in, like some scenes with the black suit, I believe, and a couple things like that. At least I'm pretty positive. And then I think they cut out like a few lines here or there. Overall, I mean, the difference timeline-wise was maybe like a few minutes. That really didn't change much. Honestly, as far as the editor's cut, it's really kind of crap.
Oh, wow.
Because the fact that it didn't change much. Like, if you have the original version, you're not missing out on much by getting this. It's not worth paying the extra money to get this version, is what I'm trying to say.
So it's
it's for the most part the same thing. You're paying for the same movie.
It's pretty much the total opposite of Batman vs Superman, where the 30 minutes actually helps that movie a bit.
Well, that's the thing, is this editor's cut is very minor, like I said, maybe a few minutes difference, and there's not much change at all. So you won't really notice it. Me personally,
you're not gonna notice a big change.
Then again, I haven't watched the movie in years, and I do mean years.
It's been frozen.
So, but from what I can recall, nothing was different. The film was 100% the same, other than like maybe a few things taken out here or there added in. And, like, so I mean, pretty darn near insignificant. So if you have the original and you have no reason, you're not a steelbook collector or anything, it's not necessary to get this, but I just thought it was a nice thing to bring up since it came out this week, and we are heading into Spider-Man Homecoming.
1 month exactly.
And speaking of Spider-Man Homecoming,
when we're recording this, I should say.
Speaking of Spider-Man Homecoming, if you do get this, I got you get a discount on pre-ordering the tickets for theaters. So I got a little bit of a discount.
Awesome.
I already bought tickets for us to go see it.
There we go.
So we got the discount thanks to buying this. So I mean,
you know what?
There's some plus.
Sony.
Yeah.
Thanks. Now you had something you were telling me about with Sony earlier that you weren't happy with. Well, so I guess we just thanked them.
Yeah.
Now you have to get on there.
Well,
that's about something.
I do have to thank them. I mean, I am a steelbook collector, and I didn't have any steelbooks for Spider-Man things yet, so now I have 2. So whether they're canceled series or not, I'm still stoked to have it.
Anything Spider-Man, you're happy.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be content with just having this.
I'm surprised you didn't you didn't wear what you got on vacation.
Well, I figured it is primarily DC news, so I figured I'd dress for occasion, dress some Suicide Squad here.
Suicide Squad news
so,
as well.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways, we'll continue to roll with Sony here. And so what I heard is Sony, apparently, we all know they had the Venom, they have the Silver and Black movie.
Silver and Black.
And they have Sinister Six.
Sinister Six is a go.
Is apparently still a go. And it also is apparently going to be taking place in its own separate universe, basically. Like it's its own, it's a standalone, or it's like by itself. So it's not going to tie in with Venom. And we also know up to this point, at the moment, what we've heard is Venom is on its own. Mm-hmm. And then Silver and Black is in its own separate category as well. Although Silver and Black is at least working towards something, because what we talked about last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago at this point, in one of our last episodes, we discussed that they were leaning towards maybe introducing a Spider-Woman and going towards
all-female type of Spider-Verse.
Yeah, so they were going towards that. So that movie definitely seems like they have something planned out. Mm-hmm. So that's awesome. So Silver and Black, nothing bad to say about that, because, I mean, come on, it's Black Cat.
But we touched, as we were talking about it, on what we thought of the Sinister Six situation.
Yeah, we thought that maybe that if they were using that movie to introduce Spider-Woman, that would help out the Sinister Six.
Oh yeah.
But now that we know that Sinister Six is apparently in its own separate thing, on top of the fact that Venom is its own separate thing, so I'm assuming from what I've heard and what I've kind of looked into, it sort of seems Venom and Sinister Six aren't even in the same universe. So
how do you
so they're basically just standalone. And, like, how do you make a Sinister Six film by itself? You don't have Spider-Man.
No, you don't.
I mean, you have Silver and Black doing their own thing, clearly, and you said that Spider-Woman's supposedly going that. Mm-hmm. So who the heck would Sinister Six go against? Is it just going to be another rated R film, and it's just going to be 6 villains? Like 6, quote-unquote, monster villains or whatever. Like,
Gaga, Sandman... Vulture.
What is Sony trying to compete with the Dark Universe here? And they're making like Sinister Six. This is going to be a horror film where they just decimate the city. I mean,
I just have
what motives does that movie have?
I have a clear vision of just Sandman bringing a tidal wave of sand and just
a
taking out like a whole city block.
Yeah, it's like a tsunami of sand just comes out of nowhere.
That would be so cool, though. I would love to see that. I kind of.
What motives does that have? Why would anybody I would be intrigued just to see the Sinister Six. However, story wise, I don't understand how you could get a story that would make sense.
Unless they have something planned. Unless they have a protagonist in mind that we just don't know about yet.
But the thing is,
even
if they have something in mind, why is it that you have these release dates or these movies that you're supposedly in talks of making or you're in the progress of trying to make? Mm-hmm. You got actors coming in, like you have Tom Hardy for Venom, and then you have people getting on board for Silver and Black. I'm pretty sure there was a director getting on board last we talked
and
about everything.
The director.
So you have people coming on board to get these movies to get up and running, but you plan to make them standalone from themselves. When you're doing it from your production, that's already standalone from Marvel. But then within that, you're going to make all of them standalone. So then you're going to have like, you're just adding more confusion to the casual fans.
I'm wondering
because it's all going to have that trademark Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
However, so the casual viewer is going to be like, oh, it's Marvel. Which, granted, casual viewer is starting to pick up on what's Sony, what's Fox, and what's what's
they're
Marvel,
figuring out what goes where.
But at the same time, if Sony splits up their own freaking category into 3 different categories, it's like, how many different Marvel categories are we going to go on?
It's almost like...
We have like 80 universes going on for Marvel here. Like,
it's like what we talked about with DC and their timeline before Wonder Woman. Which way do you watch the movies in? Because it was like...
And it really wouldn't even be like what way you watch them because they're all standalone. So it's just like, what do we get? Me as a fan, and like speaking on behalf on everybody else that could be fans, or like everybody else that go into that movie, how does that benefit anybody? I fully will give respect to the fact that if Sony wants to do their own thing, I was intrigued by the Spider-Woman idea and everything. So I was intrigued if they tied it in. But the fact that they are now doing 3 separate storylines that do not tie in, I am completely and utterly baffled and confused as to what the hell Sony is thinking or doing with their products. Because they are not pushing anything correctly. Because what would be the point of making these films if you're not going to tie them in together? What's the point? Well, you just should not make them.
My only argument to that is maybe they're thinking that Logan works so well being a standalone that they're thinking they can do that with other films. But...
Okay, well, my argument is I could agree that Venom could pull that off.
I agree with that. I think
Venom I also agree that Silver and Sable...
Silver and Black. Silver Sable and Black Cat's movie.
It's just so many...
I know.
But anyways, yeah. I agree that movie would be good as a standalone as well, and I also agree that would be a good start of them making their own like universe, own like Spider-Verse kind of thing, starting from that film. That would actually be great. I have no complaints from that standpoint.
But Sinister
Six makes like that's a complete like you just should shut that down before you even start. Just shut it down.
Now, who knows? Maybe they're sitting there green-lighting it, letting it get underway, and then waiting. I hope they're not waiting, because that's a bad idea. I've seen a multitude of movies go through what is called production hell, when you're stuck in the purgatory of production and never get anywhere. I mean, I'll say it again, DC, Batman Beyond. But, like, you see that constantly, and maybe they're willing to do that to Suicide Squad, Sinister Six, just in case they're able to get Spidey back, and they feel like it's okay to bring him back, and then they drop Tom Holland into that immediately.
Which is still a blatant kind of or not FU, but it's just like,
it's just kind of, thanks for building him up for us, now we're going to drop him into the biggest storyline we can, kind of.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also like, as far as from the Sony-verse of Marvel goes, you're plopping Spider-Man in, because at that point, no, actually, you can't even you can't even put Tom Holland in as an experienced Spider-Man character at that point if they do that. If they decided to go separate and then still keep Tom Holland as an actor, they would still have to do an origin story and they would still have to reboot him. He wouldn't actually he wouldn't be a veteran like he would be after coming like the upcoming Avengers movie.
You're right.
Where he goes through Infinity War. None of that would tie in.
If they have no tie-in.
Because the agreement that they have for having the contract for Spider-Man is every time they switch actors and they get a new film up and running, they have to do that origin story. The only reason why they don't have to do it with Marvel is because they have that agreement with Marvel. Marvel's the one doing it. So actually, no. Them not making the agreement, if they decide to not continue with Marvel, they have no choice but to reboot. So them building Sinister Six, you're going to have a young Peter Parker that doesn't know crap of what he's doing get decimated by 6 characters that are already developed. You're going to have more of a connection other than the casual viewer that doesn't know what's happening. And if you cast Tom Holland, they're like, oh, it's Tom Holland, he is a veteran. But from the people that know what's happening, and that's just because it's the same actor doesn't mean it's the same situation.
You understand the storyline.
Yeah, so you understand the storyline, so he actually is still a newbie, if you will.
He's new to the suit.
You have a more deeper connection to the 6 villains than you do Peter Parker, other than the fact of Tom Holland's name, if he stuck with the role, that is. That would be the only way that you would feel any connection to Peter Parker from that point of view. So that, it just doesn't work.
There's also the question mark of exactly what way they're going to take Sinister Six. We don't know how they're going to go along with Sinister Six. There's also always a chance, and they're like, oh, let's do it like Suicide Squad and make them the good guys. I don't see them doing that.
You know, I kind of thought about that when you did, like, briefly say Suicide Squad.
That's what made me come to think about that.
But at the same time, I don't ever recall Sinister Six ever being...
That's why
the name within itself doesn't even sound like they'd be good. I mean,
Suicide Squad doesn't sound good either,
but Suicide Squad is, you're like... When I think about it like they're basically... They're going into something that they more than likely could die.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not thinking of it as like a bad team per se. Like, that could flow as one way or another, bad or good. But Sinister Six, I don't know how you could pull that as, oh yeah, they're the good guys.
Oh, they're the good guys. You see those sinister guys over there that look like they could kill you? They're the good guys.
It's like some casual person just like seeing all this happening and they're just like, go Sinisters! What?
Yeah, dude, doing the sidewalk. Woo! Yeah, go Doc Ock, you get him. Isn't Doc Ock a bad guy? Yeah, didn't he kill a guy? I think he did.
I think
Should
that
we be cheering for him?
Here's an idea, Sony. If you want to make a Sinister Six movie so bad, the best way to make that film, make a deal. If you're not going to make that in the MCU, make a deal with Fox. Now listen here.
Oh no! I think I know
bring Deadpool in.
I know exactly
because he will make that movie so much better. Because then he could do what you just said. Basically, he can be like, "Go Doc Ock." Wait, isn't he the bad guy? Deadpool could pull that role. There you go, Sony. I fixed your problem. You want to be not with Marvel? Go find Fox.
Let's do this. How about we just put it this way? If they all just team together, Fox, Sony, and Marvel just decide, hey, you know what? Let's collaborate on one project.
I don't think we're going to be alive.
We're probably not.
For that.
But I'm just saying, what if, giant what if here, what if they just say, let's collaborate on one giant project? What if they just do Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe?
Well, maybe. But
I would love it.
Here's another thought that maybe Sony, maybe they could fix this. So I'm gonna roll with they make Sinister Six. There's no hero to help.
No hero.
It's just the Sinister Six is just gonna decimate the city.
Okay.
That's the film.
So it's a horror movie.
This is where we're rolling with. This is my predictions. Sinister Six decimates the city. That's the movie. Now, that supposedly takes place non-MCU. Then they have this deal with Marvel, right? Okay. Stan Lee is the Watcher that ties into all these other universes. So technically it's another universe where the Sinister Six rules Earth. Say it's Earth 22. Or universe, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever.
Because this isn't DC.
But
whatever the hell you want to call that universe. Okay? So then the universes cross over through Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Bam.
Actually, that makes sense.
So he crosses it over. Alright? Then you have the Sinister Six versus the Avengers to help save that other universe. Has nothing to do with Spider-Man, but the Avengers come in, they're like, whoa, what are these guys doing? They're like effing up the place. We gotta do something. We don't even know what's going on because I don't know anybody here. Like, where the hell is let's say they don't go in with Spider-Man. Well, no, maybe the new Spider-Man comes in.
On the roofs!
But yeah, I don't know. Say they don't know anybody, like, for some reason Nick Fury's not there, there's no such thing as S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, literally, Sinister Six run everything. Whole different world.
So it's Secret Empire with just Sinister Six.
I guess. Okay, so they come in, they're like, oh my god, this Earth is terrible, like, where are we? Like, they think it's just they didn't realize they went to a different universe or something. So then they're like, oh my god, we gotta take back Earth, like, we gotta fight. Like, got another problem. So this happens after, obviously, Avengers 4. So this is the story arc here. So it happens after Avengers 4. So then they come in and it's just like, oh, Avengers versus Sinister Six. Bam. Makes perfect fucking sense why Sinister Six happened.
Okay, Sony. Your move.
I fixed it. I completely fixed it. It's really, utterly overthought for your completely underthought process of the system. But there you go. I tried to think more in depth than what you have so far. There's your plans for the future.
Okay,
Just saying.
Balls in your court, Sony. Balls in your court.
I thought it out. I didn't put too much thought. I thought of that on the spot, but I guarantee you it's more.
Everybody could tell.
I guarantee you it's more thought out than what they have.
Right now, maybe. Okay.
Maybe Sony needs to hire me. I think I could fix their problem.
I don't think they need to after that.
I could fix their problem.
We'll see. We'll see what Sony does.
You want something fixed. I'll make a Spider-Verse for you. Let's go.
Let's just keep moving on. You have more Sony or not
Spider-Man
Sony.
2099. Do it.
Let Marvel handle that.
Somebody do it. And do it right. So yeah, probably Marvel.
Yeah. But any more Marvel news? Any more Marvel news?
That wasn't quite a tirade. I think that
it wasn't. You literally made the Suicide Squad. You literally made the Sinister Six movie.
Yeah, I helped them. I didn't hate on them that time. I was trying to help a brother out.
What's next?
Sony.
Yeah, we know that much.
Speaking of Sony.
Oh, no.
They do have, and speaking with Spider-Man, Spider-Man video game will be coming out in 2018.
It's going to be fun from that trailer.
They did release the trailer, shows a little bit of gameplay.
He showed some good stuff, and that was one of the best.
Pretty nice. I am pretty excited. Based off of what I have looked into, it does look like it is the future Peter Parker. It is not the child version that you will be seeing in the MCU. He is older. He is roughly 20. He's in his 20s. He's maybe like 23. He's somewhere in his 20s.
He's our age.
So yeah, he's no longer in his teens, 15, whatever, in high school. He is grown up. He does have accomplices. Accomplices.
Yeah.
There we go.
We can't talk apparently today.
Today is not my day to talk.
Nope. After that Sister Six pitch.
I gotta go back to high school.
Get bit by that radioactive spider again.
I'd do it. I'd relive the last decade of my life to get that accomplished.
Get that spider bit. Or that
spider bit. In other news, when it comes to the Marvel movies though, upcoming situations and predictions for Avengers 3, we have already kind of discussed that we were thinking that Cap is going to die.
You mean Avengers 4 or Infinity War?
That is Avengers 3.
No, it's Avengers 3. Infinity War.
It's the third installment.
It's Infinity War. It's got a name.
I don't care. That movie is predicted that Cap is going to die.
You think so?
It's pretty much
I think he dies in 4.
What?
I think he dies in 4.
The thing is if it extends any further, now you could be right that it could be 4, but then this is what it is. Chris Evans' contract, he is only set for one more movie. Now, whether that includes Infinity War
and Avengers
and then he has one film following that, which if that's the case, then yes, he will die in Avengers 4. Now, if that one film counts for the film he is currently filming, then he's going to die in Avengers 3. In this story, because they haven't discussed any future contracts. We have discussed in the past that he was looking to, because Chris Evans has kind of changed his mind back and forth, sort of like how I changed my mind with how I feel with Sony.
Very similar. Very similar.
1 minute doesn't want to do the role, the next minute he wants to renew the role. He doesn't know.
Just like you love Sony 1 minute, and then you want to just pitch Sinister Six the next.
But hey, I was being helpful. But anyways, so we did discuss that he wanted to renew the role at one point in time, but it was up to Disney, whether Disney/Marvel, whether they wanted to renew it or not. But there is no talks of a contract being renewed whatsoever. But on the other hand, in good news, Robert Downey Jr. has already renewed another contract.
Yay!
So Iron Man is guaranteed not to die.
Well, that's good. That is very good.
Sorry for the spoilers, but guess what?
Robert Downey Jr.
Sorry for the spoilers, but bam, he's not dying.
They need Robert Downey Jr. That is a must-have.
I'm excited. He's pretty much the face of the MCU for the most part.
Pretty much is.
So and he's really the face of Iron Man. Mm-hmm. So honestly, whereas they have 2 different caps available after Chris Evans.
Yep.
So I don't think that Disney's worried. I don't think Marvel's worried.
Bucky.
I'm excited with this news. Let us know how you feel.
Oh, yeah.
But Robert Downey Jr., people, President 2020.
Are we going to have a Marvel DC war for president? Because, I mean, you want Robert Downey Jr. We all know it's going to be Dwayne.
No, it's Robert Downey Jr.
Not Dwayne. What about Dwayne with running mate Robert Downey Jr.?
Like he'd be the vice president? I could run with that.
Okay, so we're set there. Dwayne Johnson Downey Jr. 2020. That's our vote.
You got the intimidation factor, and then you got the smarts.
Yep.
Bam, this country's set.
And they both got money.
We're set.
We're good.
End of the Casual Comic Cast now.
No.
That's the best news we got.
We got more news.
No. All right.
What else you got?
The final thing for the MCU that I have, unless you have anything else, but the final thing is that there was a fan theory
on
that the hand / the fist, I believe it's the hand. The hand.
For the Defenders?
The fist is involved now. That's the other take of the hand. Anyways.
It's the other hand.
Yeah. They don't really diverse from any other limbs.
No,
they don't really. Don't go to the feet or anything. Maybe the shin.
No, the foot. Shins. The foot is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
You're right.
Yep. Thank you, cartoons.
You're right. Anyways, so there's the theory that the hand is kind of working into a vampire genre. They are establishing vampires. Like the hand is working underground because they have that coffin. And they bring people back to life. And they also, if you wait. And they also are working with blood. They're taking blood from a lot of people in those underground systems and everything. And guess what, people?
Does that mean Elektra's a vampire?
Possibly. Which I'm intrigued to see Defenders with this theory. Now, granted, this is all speculation that somebody else. This isn't even theory. My speculation, people.
And yours goes.
But I just like it. I like the idea because, and the reason why, I don't know how I like if Elektra would be a vampire, but
I mean, she's immortal.
What I do like is the concept that Marvel now has the rights back for Blade in recent years. And there was talk.
I like that idea.
There was talk back in the past that they were going to do a basic reboot for Blade, and it was going It was going to be through a Netflix series just like this. Yes. So guess what? If this theory is true,
somebody get Wesley Snipes on the phone right now.
That means that the Netflix Marvel series has introduced in bringing in Blade.
Give me Wesley Snipes. As long as it's Wesley Snipes, I am 100% down for that.
Well, back when there was consideration of the reboot through Marvel, I believe he was still interested in trying to keep it rolling if they wanted to. So, this is one theory that I fully support.
I'm down.
And would really love for it to be the case, because then that would introduce Blade into the MCU.
I am totally down for Wesley Snipes returning as Blade if they make vampires in the Defenders.
I mean, Blade is MCU, right? I am correct on that. I am not going off on a limb like where you tried to put Spawn in the MCU.
I believe he's Marvel.
Okay. I don't want to pull another Spawn situation here.
Well, it could be like one of those situations we were talking about.
I really thought that I did see somewhere, though, that Blade was back at Marvel. Like, that was, quote-unquote, what it said. So I'm quoting something else that I read.
It could be like one of those things like with what we were talking about earlier, Black Lightning and Static Shock.
Where they maybe bought the company.
Yeah, but it was a different company that had the rights to it.
Which we'll roll into that. So basically, there's a thing of Black Lightning. It's kind of predicted that maybe Season 2 will introduce Static Shock into the CW Arrowverse.
And if you grew up like us, you have seen that cartoon and you like Static Shock quite a lot.
And there's also been other takes of him coming into Young Justice and so forth.
Having a team up with Batman.
But there was the whole situation of DC trying to get the rights to
Yep.
it and everything by having a
What was it, Milestone?
Milltown.
I thought it was Milestone.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you should Google it real quick.
I'm on it. You keep talking.
It started
I'm
with
on
an
it.
M. They had a feud, or they had a dispute with a company starting with M.
Believe it was
The
Milestone.
Big M. We'll call it the Big M here in
Big M.
in the Casual Comcast. They took on the M company to get Static Shock. Yeah, it was Milestone. That's what it looks
I think
like.
it's Milestone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milestone University.
So you're right. I don't know how I got Milltown. Maybe my phone auto-corrected when I was doing it, and somehow I'm just going off what my phone has. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but they were talking with them, and I believe there's no pure sell yet. But of course, with these type of situations, money talks, BS walks. So as long as Warner Brothers is willing to go, hey, Milestone, how much?
Well,
I mean, I think it will be no problem.
I think that it'd be interesting to see Static Shock in a live-action version. I'm intrigued from that alone. Matter of fact, I actually feel like I have more connection to see him, but then again, I grew up with him, so I'm biased.
Yeah.
But I have more connection to see him than the Black Lightning story.
Oh yeah, I'd be much more. And it is the bias that, like, when you're a child and you're watching cartoons, you see Static Shock, you watch that like every Saturday morning for like 4 or 5 years straight.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you hear about him getting live action, it's like, oh my god, childhood reborn.
I mean, I personally think that he's definitely worth getting his own standalone. Whether
Dude,
anybody
dude's
else
great.
feels that he should get his own standalone, I think he should. However, I don't know if they truly are going to, let's say they introduce him in season 2. I don't really see that DC necessarily has to do this.
No, they don't.
Because of the fact that they already have introduced Black Lightning into CW's universe.
Mm-hmm.
And Black Lightning, his family is supposedly getting like lightning powers, whatever.
So
It's
you
like-
pretty much have a whole
so
family
you already
of
have
electricity.
like 1 to 3 people that have like the same power, if you will. Maybe a little diverse, but for the most part, same thing.
Yep.
I don't really think you need a 4th person having the exact same power introduced into the Arrowverse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, on top of that, I mean, introduced into DC live action in general.
Unless
Because, I mean, as is, you already got 2 different castings of a lot of people from your casting. You have the Arrowverse that was already pre-established, and then you're going into the movies now, and you're recasting people to play that same role. So you already have multiple takes of all these others, so you don't need, even if it's a different character with a different name, you don't need multiple takes of the people that have basically the same power.
Yeah.
Because as is, you already kind of got that going on with the fact of the recasting for the movies and so forth. We don't need, there's a thing as too much of a good thing.
Yeah, we've talked about it plenty.
And you don't need the excess of the same thing, because then it will get repetitive and then it becomes completely and utterly unnecessary, and people won't want to watch it because it's the same thing over and over again at that point.
You don't sit there and you don't want to watch reruns constantly. You'll watch it every so often, but you're not going to watch it constantly. And if you do have like 4 different characters with the exact same, well, not exact same, but very similar powers,
then most of
you're going to be like, okay, what makes them different from the others?
You're going to roll them into one, or if they say that it would roll into Static Shock having his own series, then it'd pretty much be who likes who better. Like, the people that like Static Shock better are just going to care about him, and they're not going to care about Black Lightning. Or vice
I'll
versa.
say it now, probably if Static Shock's on the show, that's what would get me to watch it more. And
I don't know. Black Lightning, have you seen the trailer?
No, I haven't yet.
If you're not. Anyways, we
I've got
discussed
other
this
stuff
before.
to do.
It just takes a few minutes. You can have time. You need to stop playing the thing that you don't have time, because you do. Anyways,
I got stuff to do.
no. Anyways, the Black Lightning trailer actually looks really promising. I'm stoked because it's a veteran coming out of retirement.
I do
veteran
like that
superhero.
concept.
So, I think that it has very high promise.
But I am just saying though, if like a character like that was introduced and I'm coming in fresh, not having seen season 1 at all or something like that, and I see a
Like
clip of
flipping through
Static
the
Shock,
trailers,
and I see Static
the
Shock
trailers.
on a trailer for season 2, I'm just like, oh, Static Shock! Oh my god, I want to watch this show. So like,
Yeah.
that type of thing would get me to watch it. Not saying that I wouldn't watch season 1 it would be in my back catalog with everything else. But, like, there's points where if you grow up with a character, it's going to be kind of, I want to watch, I know you're looking at my computer, I've got this up for something else. Yes, I've got this up for something we're going to talk about here in just a bit. And let's go ahead and jump into it since I've got it up here. Let's get into some, well, actually, let's not do that. Yeah, we'll save all the Justice League stuff for the end. We'll jump into talking about our future president. We already talked about his running mate. Let's talk about our future president in 2020, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. We all know that he is Black Adam. He's going to be a great Black Adam. He's getting paid a lot. He's also going to, according to some stuff for the Dark Universe, he's going to be in that too, apparently.
True. Are you wanting to go ahead and run through the Dark Universe stuff
we can go ahead.
Continue with DC?
Well, you know what? Let's get through this one little thing I want to get through, then we'll take a brief pit stop in the Dark Universe.
Pit.
That sounds
I like that. That rolls.
But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has announced who he wants to play Shazam. And it is a man who, at one point, could have been Batman.
John Cena. Boop, 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 boop.
No! Sadly, I could see him wanting John Cena as Shazam, though.
No.
But no, it's
I just
not.
wanted to make a joke.
I know you did, and it worked. But in, I believe it was Greg Miller's, I want to say that's the director's name, I could be entirely wrong there. But in the original Justice League that had been planned a couple years ago, Armie Hammer, I'm not exactly sure if that's how you pronounce his first name, I always look at and believe that's how you pronounce it. He played the Lone Ranger in Disney's Lone Ranger movie. He was supposed to be Batman.
Okay.
I think it's Armie. It might be Armie Hammer, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But
are you talking about the was Lone Ranger the one with Johnny Depp in it?
With Johnny Depp as Tonto.
Okay, so we're on the same page. I know what he. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he played the Lone Ranger. He is The Rock's choice as Shazam. So he would be going from almost playing Batman in a Justice League movie to playing Shazam, as well as he was rumored to be Green Lantern, but never any news of that. They never called him or anything for the Green Lantern Corps movie that's supposedly coming out in 2020.
I don't know much about Shazam, so I don't really have an opinion.
I think he's a solid actor.
I mean, he seems like a...
And if Dwayne wants him, let him get who he wants. It's The Rock. I trust The Rock. So...
I mean, I don't really recall him being that built, though.
Well...
So that's maybe one thing, because Shazam is supposed to be a little bit... Or like from what I've seen.
Yeah, once he changes from Billy into Shazam.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he's... I hate to say
unless you pull a...
He's the original Captain Marvel, is literally what he is. I hate saying it, but it's true. It's a complete rip-off of Captain Marvel. But yeah, he's got to be somewhat built. And, I mean, I guess Hammer can put on the weight. I haven't seen him lately.
I mean, I guess, yeah, he could go through like an extreme weight workout.
Right? I mean, he can work out with The Rock. Why not that? Just work out.
Well, that's the real thing. That's where I'm really getting my opinion off of, is... Shazam and Black Adam are pretty much two in the same. Like they're literally like twinsies. Like they're like.
I want a picture now of Hammer and The Rock if he gets cast as Shazam, on Instagram with both of them in their costumes. Twinsies.
I mean, literally, it's the same outfit, just different colors. I mean, think about it.
Pretty much. It's a little Egyptian style for Black Adam, but yeah, you're kind of right.
For the most part, they're the same, and they have the same powers, I believe, right? From what I know.
Well, Black Adam has more of an electric power to him, but
he's another person with it. Yeah, we don't need static as much as I would like it. We don't need it.
But yeah, they are very similar. They have that same Shazam, and they get their power type thing. So, I mean, they could...
DC.
You could be right on the fact that they have to look very similar. But hey, just train with The Rock for a bit, he might be big enough.
Yeah, but that's my only thing, is they both look like they have the same body build, comic-wise. So, coming to the big screen, they have to at least be very similar. And unless he bulks up, I don't think he can compare to The Rock. So I think you really need another actor that...
What do you want them to do, cast John Cena?
I was about to say, I was like, maybe they have to. Like, maybe they have to.
He's beat him at WrestleMania, so, I mean, it's believable.
I don't know. I don't know.
But either way.
Anyways, that's interesting news. But I mean,
Dwayne has stated who he wants to be his Shazam, so it's possible we could see
I have to
that
disagree unless he balks up.
We'll see.
The Rock
where they
better
go.
put him into some severe training.
We'll see where they go. There is no news at all about a Shazam, so we don't know where they're going to go there. Let's hop into a little bit of pit stop into Universal's Dark Universe for a bit. We're probably not going to cover that much here on the Casual Comic Cast, but it's a fun thing. If you like old school horror movies.
At least a brief mention for this episode.
Yep, those old school monsters type movies, they're great things to watch. Of course, The Mummy was the start of that, just recently came out.
Which we have not seen. However, we did do a quick, basically...
Rundown.
We
got like a rundown of the movie?
We got basically something that covered pretty much all the plots. And I've got to say that, I mean...
It seems so weird.
I will see it at some point or another. Whether I will see it in theater, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'll probably wait till it comes out for Redbox, or maybe I'll just straight up buy it when it comes out and I'll just watch it then.
Something like Voodoo.
Well, if they have a steelbook, I'm more than likely to buy that, which I'm sure they will. That's why I'm saying I'll probably buy it. But anyways, I don't think I'm watching it in theater, but it seems somewhat interesting. But from what I heard, it was a flop. Pretty much
and
just
there is
as
one
bad.
thing we wanted to look at, so when you continue to talk about it, I'm head over to the Rotten Tomatoes.
It was pretty much a flop, just as bad as Dracula Untold. Maybe not just as bad, but it was, from what I heard, almost as bad.
Whoa! Did it flop ever? It did worse than Batman vs. Superman on Rotten Tomatoes. 16% by critics and 43% on the audience score. Sorry.
Look up Dracula Untold then, out of curiosity.
Let's go check it out. Dracula Untold.
Because that was supposed to be the original.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the start 23%.
So it did better. It did better.
Not much,
but
7.
The point is it did better.
It did better.
So the point is,
you're gonna find whatever fun part of this you can have.
Yes,
because you enjoyed that movie.
You
were part of the 58%.
Yes, from what I've only seen it once, and it was a couple years ago. But from what I remember, Dracula Untold really wasn't that bad. So, and if you're gonna continue your universe from the Mummy movie, that clearly, according to critics,
Rotten Tomatoes list. Not good.
Really wasn't good.
I'll put it into now. If you're new to Rotten Tomatoes, the way the critics rate it is they do rotten or fresh. Fresh means it was good. Rotten means it was bad, and that's how they do their critiques. 182 rotten critiques to 34 fresh critiques. Yeah, that's not good. I'm just gonna.
I mean, if you're gonna continue from that movie and continue forth with your dark universe, why would you ignore the Dracula Untold? Personally, I mean, you could just somehow tie that in.
Wow, yeah, they're not being kind either on these critiques.
I guess whatever. Point is even if this being the start of the dark universe, it's not that great of a start for their second attempt of starting it.
Somebody literally used Batman vs. Superman in a critique.
Honestly, Batman vs. Superman pretty much is the best thing to relate to anything nowadays, because that is like the worst of the worst.
I just want to read this critique. I'm not going to say who the critic was, because they're not even the top critic here, but remember the scene in Dawn of Justice where Batman sends Wonder Woman an email explaining the plot of the next film? That's the entire second act here. Wow. Yeah, you should skip it because it's worse than incompetent. It's soulless. Yeah, this movie did not do well at all. I'm not even going to read any more of those critiques.
Honestly, trailer-wise, I'm intrigued with the way it looks, but I was kind of trying to figure out why the hell Tom Cruise was thrown in there.
Well, we now know why.
A movie push. But yeah, we now know why because we looked into it. Those of you that haven't...
We won't spoil it.
Yeah.
We won't spoil why.
Those of you that haven't seen it, you'll figure it out when you do see it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I will spoil though is
he's not going to be in any of the other movies.
Well, he's not announced to be in any of the movies yet.
Yeah. That's a better
There
way to
also
put it.
is no sequel announced yet.
Nope.
And also his ability, though.
Don't.
I did low-key just spoil
You
it.
did.
I'm just going to finish what I'm saying. The ability in the end, I'll just go for this. The ability in the end is that you can bring people back to life. So that's your first movie, and you've already introduced that. So
Could
basically,
be a lot of Lazarus pitting.
basically, if there's any death from this moment on in your universe,
Where's
there's no
Tom
real,
Cruise?
there's no real,
There's no real question of if they're gonna stay dead.
yeah, there's no real like sympathetic.
Because they can always come back.
Sympathy.
Yeah,
Wow,
there's
I don't
no
know why I
real
struggled.
sympathy for that because they can always come back.
Yeah, because they
Tom
can always
Cruise
come
is
back,
in it.
and you don't. Even if they don't come back in that movie that you see them die, you could just be like, oh, they'll come back like later on in this universe, more than likely.
Now-
So, I completely understand how the movie could have flopped from aspects that I have heard, because that's one of them.
Now,
'Cause that
fun
seems
thing
like a
is-
pretty OP power to introduce right off the bat.
But what I like is Dr.
But-
Jekyll's in the movie, aka of course Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, if you know about that story. So
What-
that's a cool aspect.
Well, did they have him? Was he at the? Who was the guy at the end of Dracula Untold? Do you know?
No,
I know you haven't
I
seen
do
it,
not
but
know.
okay. Well, if that was supposed to be the same guy, the fact that it was different actors, maybe that's why they definitely couldn't tie it
But
in.
yeah, Dr. Jekyll is in that movie, which I like that aspect because I like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
I mean, like I said, all in all, it seems like it's a good film. But anyways, there's no sequel. He's not going to be any tie-ins at the moment that have been announced. But what has been announced, we'll go ahead and roll into that quickly.
Yep. Is a bunch of other movies.
So we do movies that are confirmed that will be in the works. Is Invisible Man will be played by
Starring Johnny Depp.
Yeah, played by Johnny Depp.
Which that sounds great to me.
Anything Johnny Depp is good.
Pretty much.
I mean, Johnny Depp is fantastic.
He has a bad one every so often,
Yeah, but I mean,
but 9 times out of 10
I'd
you're
say
getting a good movie out of it.
a lot of his movies, the movies that I have really seen, liked him in. I mean, he's good in everything, but these are just ones that I'm just going to throw off the top of my head. Sweeney Todd was good. I recently actually saw that.
Oh, it's so good.
Maybe within the last year. Good movie.
So good.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Of course, he's a
I
great
like
Jack
that,
Sparrow.
but then again, I really like pirates, so I'm
Yeah,
biased.
you have a
But
weird
that was
pirate
also the
fixation.
first role that I really majorly saw him in. But he fits Johnny Depp. I mean, he fit. Oh,
Johnny Depp fits Captain Jack Sparrow.
yes, there we go. Thank you.
Edward Scissorhands, he's great in that movie. He doesn't say a word. It's an amazing portrayal. He's just a good actor.
Yeah.
You could go on and on about his good roles, most of which with Tim Burton
So
directing.
I think Johnny Depp being cast into the Dark Universe, I think that this
it's
is
money.
That's good.
It's money.
That's definitely helps them, and I'm intrigued to see that film just from that standpoint alone.
Now, the director of the live-action Beauty and the Beast also is doing a film, and that is Bride of Frankenstein. And
Which we don't know who the female lead is, other
right now
than it's
the lead
rumored.
is Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, it's rumored to be
So-
Angelina Jolie.
No Brad Pitt, sadly, right? Oh, poor Bradgelina.
Wow.
I
Anyways,
just had to. Had to.
but the Frankenstein role is going to.
Oh, what was his name? I can't.
You don't
believe I
remember?
forgot it.
I told you to write it down.
I know.
This is what happens. I don't remember either.
I hadn't heard of him. It was what was his Spanish name or something? Oh, I can't remember.
I shouldn't have even brought it up. We should have just rolled with it.
Yeah,
All right,
I can't. No,
we're slacking.
no.
We didn't write it down, folks, so I guess we don't have
Well,
it.
nonetheless, they
do
redoing
have the casting
Yes.
for it. We'll just
his
say
casting.
that.
He has been casted. I didn't know his name. I'm sure if I looked him up on IMDb, I might recognize a movie or two.
Well, you probably Google it really quick.
I could.
I'll go down the list
You
of
can
the
go
ones
down
that they
the list
announced.
of the movies
all right.
they
So
have announced they're making.
So the other ones that they have announced that will be the future of the Dark Universe is they will be remaking Van Helsing to be a part of it. They will be remaking Wolfman, which is where Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson comes back into play because it is...
He's not casted.
But it is rumored or a fan theory that he will be playing Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
So, which makes sense because he is pretty buff. I
he's
mean,
built.
it works. I could
Just
see
put
it.
hair on him, you're good to go.
They will be making a new creature of the Blue Lagoon, I believe.
Black Lagoon.
Black Lagoon. Why did I say Blue Lagoon?
Because I shortened it there because I knew what I was saying.
I'm also having an off day.
You are having
my
a very
speech
off
is
day.
just. But
here it is.
They will be redoing Dracula again.
I hope they do it in a classic version.
Then, what are these ones?
Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem. That's Frankenstein. He is Frankenstein's monster.
So
there's no bride for him yet.
There's the casting for him, and you go ahead and say the last two for the lineup.
Last two we've got. Yeah, I shortened them just because it would have taken so many lines for me to write them. We've got The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Everyone knows that as a Disney movie. Originally was a monster movie by Universal. So now we get the original back in the Dark Universe. And one that I'm really looking forward to, and it's just because I'm a nerd, and I've really grown to like musicals now. Phantom of the Opera. I'm excited for that. Probably no one else is excited for that but me, but I'm excited for that. And the original Phantom of the Opera is good, and the remake songs are good.
I'm more or less looking towards Dracula.
Yeah, yours is Dracula. Creature of the Black Lagoon should be interesting.
Honestly, I'm also intrigued by the Mummy. I would say the two out of the Dark Universe that I would really kind of be intrigued with is the Mummy and Dracula.
We did joke that
a little bit.
Hugh Jackman should be cast as Van Helsing before we found out they were remaking it.
That was just a coincidence we stumbled upon today.
So, Hugh Jackman, come on back, man.
But still do a reboot. Don't make it the one that happened.
Yeah.
Then
you can just come back as Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Old man Van Helsing.
Pretend it's a different one. But, yeah.
But
so,
the Dark Universe does look to be promising.
I think that it seems good.
Other than the Mummy.
Granted, the film starting it off flopped for the second time.
Yep.
So it seems like they are struggling to get their universe actually started.
I hate to say it, it's very DCEU-ish of them.
True, they have been failing to get their universe started.
Wonder Woman hit it big.
So pretty much they just need one movie to hit it off and then kind of
to really get it going.
Milk the hell out of it.
Oh, don't say that because
that's pretty much the case with Wonder Woman, in my opinion. You need to milk the hell out of it.
Yeah, dude.
In order to make your universe better, that's key for DC.
Well, let's get back into that universe, as that is a perfect segue, and we'll actually jump into their Netflix thing that we talked about. I don't remember the exact name of what they were calling it, but it's like their version of Netflix. You get a bunch of DC stuff you can watch.
Which they will be putting the new season of Young Justice on there, as well as Teen Titans.
The live-action Teen Titans series that is apparently going to start shooting this fall, possibly. So that might be coming out a lot quicker than expected, which means we might be hearing more news about that video-on-demand service from DC a lot more. Along with that, we'll jump into the next two films to go into production, and this is what's surprising. When I say next two DC movies to get produced, what movies do you think that would be? I know you've already seen it, but if you hadn't seen it... I
actually haven't.
So you didn't see what I wrote? Okay, good.
I haven't the slightest clue.
If you just had to pick out of movies that you know they're making, so movies like Batgirl, Suicide Squad 2, The Batman, Man of Steel 2, the movies we know are coming out.
Batgirl.
So, okay, Batgirl. And what would you say is the other one? Two movies are coming.
Prior to finding out the Suicide Squad news, I would say Suicide Squad 2. However, I think that was not already in.
Okay, so...
Well, no, there is talks. There are things going for it already anyways. But, I mean, that's already kind of in production anyways, really.
What would you say? No, it hasn't gone into production.
Oh, it hasn't?
But what's the next two to go into production? These movies have not yet gone into production. They're just the next ones to go into production.
Batgirl and then...
Just take a wild guess. You can just throw a shot to the moon.
Cyborg.
Oh, you're saying Cyborg. Wow. I mean, throwing a shot in the dark was a smart idea, but it's Batgirl, you're right. Batgirl will be going into production. They are lighting a fire.
Is the other one
for
Flash?
Batgirl. No. No, that would... I could have seen you.
Because I was debating that too.
But no, actually, this is what surprised me, was the actual decision here. Batgirl is going into production. They're trying to get that off the ground as quickly as possible. And Justice League Dark will be going into production.
I thought
So
there was
those
rumor
are the
that
next
was
two.
actually having issues.
Well, remember they lost their director and were looking to get a new one.
But
so
now it's
I'm
actually
guessing they've got a guy ready to go.
Hmm.
I don't know. We haven't heard any news about a director for JLD. So
I like it, though.
I like that that's going to be kind of pushed to the forefront.
I think that it makes sense that they're pushing Batgirl too. From my
yeah.
perspective, due to the fact of the constant.
We'll get into more talk
Is
of
Ben Affleck on? Is he off? On off on off.
and where Matt
Is
Reeves
Chris
stands
Evans
is,
with Cap?
and where Matt Reeves stands with the Batman right now. We have no idea when that movie's coming out.
I mean, from Ben Affleck's perspective, though, I mean, when Batman vs Superman flopped, if you will,
We got all our sad flack memes.
We get it.
I totally understand why he was so sad, and it makes sense, but I think the Batman, given if it can do what it should do with Matt Reeves there, and Ben Affleck, and Jeff Johns, who seems to have straightened everything out since the Suicide Squad and Batman vs. Superman, I almost forgot it. Batman vs. Superman debacle. I mean, he seems to have righted the ship at least a bit.
Maybe you want to forget it, but
I do.
Sadly, it happened.
Exactly. And it got rid of Doomsday, which is even worse. But
well,
I like Doomsday.
Is it really worse when you look like that?
Rejected Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, not so much. But yeah, Batgirl, Justice League Dark going into production next, so those will be things to definitely watch, especially after all the Justice League reshoots.
I also actually back to the Batgirl getting pushed now. I actually kind of get that even further with, not to mention it's a backup for the situation of if Ben Affleck stops being Batman, they still have a Batman of some sorts, if you will, within Batgirl.
They have a Batman series going on.
So they could still have her, have
as well as Nightwing.
And they also have
much about that either.
Well, they have also said that he is older, Bruce is older, so he could kind of pass it to her, and they just kind of shrug him off and not do anything with him anymore.
Batman Beyond, right?
So I see that the reason why that's getting pushed, since there's the issues behind the Batman.
Well, I'll talk a little bit more about my reasoning.
But I also like the reason. I think that my perspective, the reason why that's getting pushed now is the massively. Well, I guess I actually haven't seen other people's feedback, but I'm assuming the massively good feedback from Wonder Woman.
That is a big possibility. I didn't think about that, but you might be right. The kind of female-led role being as popular as it was might be a reason they're pushing it as hard as they are. And I'm not going to lie, because I'll talk more about the whole thing with Joss Whedon here coming up. But that's one reason I'm excited, because Joss Whedon is a good director. He has his slip-ups, Green Lantern. But he has his big moments, aka the Avengers, and when he has his big moments, they're extremely good.
I actually saw something that said that the 6 things that he hated about the Avengers or something like that. I didn't actually.
He always hates something about his movies too.
Yeah,
and that's always. I
think that's anybody. They always critique their work.
You always are gonna hate something about your work.
I mean, I always go back on some of my past things, and I critique it constantly.
You're never gonna be happy.
So
you're never gonna be completely happy with what happened.
Yeah.
But let's get into some more news about Justice League. Make sure I touched on everything else. Indeed, I did. Let's start with casting, and this is something I didn't know. You saw I got the IMDb page up here. That's because I'm doing so many names here that I'm going to suck at pronouncing. Kiersey Clemens, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She was actually in Neighbors 2 Sorority Rising as Beth. I believe that was the black girl that was always in the major group, like that 4 of the 4 major ones. I believe she was the black girl that was there.
Got you.
But she will be playing Iris West, not only in the Flash solo film, but she will be making a cameo in the Justice League, and her scenes have been shot. So, unless there's a cutting room floor situation, she's in the movie.
All right, then.
We don't know where or how, but she's in the movie, and she will be playing Iris West. So keep that in mind. So we have our...
So that's coming from the reshoot?
That is coming from her.
No, I mean, like,
was
the filming...
I believe
was that from
her
reshoots?
being
or?
filmed was already done.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe they reshot any of her stuff, because from what I've heard with the reshoots, they're doing a lot of the stuff in London, which is kind of the main center point of the movie.
That actually kind of makes sense that it left off for Wonder Woman there.
In London. Well, now we'll jump into a lot of those reshoot situations, and let's start off with... What do I want to start with? There's so many good things, and there's one bad thing. I'm going to start off with my favorite thing from the reshoots.
Well, I just remembered something
Okay, go ahead.
that was Marvel news that we didn't cover. So do you truly want to end on the...
I want to end on the reshoots because there's one big set of news
so
that people continue to talk about.
It's a good thing that I caught this, and we haven't discussed it. So... The Black Panther trailer dropped earlier this week.
That's true. I forgot we didn't talk about that.
That's pretty key to talk about, in my opinion, because it looks freaking phenomenal.
It does look great. Michael B. Jordan being what looks to be at least a villain.
And from what you can see is you can actually see there are two different suits in the trailer. There are two different takes. Really? There is the suit that you see from Civil War, and you can clearly tell that there are some improvements to the suit.
Well, that makes sense
with the way through.
With the way we saw it end, kind of, with Cap with him.
Well, I don't think Cap did the improvement.
I know, but I'm just saying it kind of makes sense that we now know it takes place after.
Well, yeah, it takes place after
Civil War.
Well, you can also kind of, from what I can get from the trailer, it seems that him coming out of the helicopter, or what's that helicopter?
I believe so.
Helicopter, yeah. He returns to his homeland of Wakanda. Yes. Let's just say that he comes out in front of all of his people.
There's a really nice line though in that.
So basically, he's returning to Wakanda. So clearly, that's basically kind of really the start of the trailer for the most part, other than interrogations.
I will say though that starting scene with the last line that's in that trailer is just perfect because they go so well together.
Well, back to the suit though. There are two different suits, and you can tell that there are improvements that are done to the suit. At some point in the film, we will be getting improvements to the Black Panther suit. And because you can see when he pounces down on the car, there is a pulse that gets let out, which that is not part of anything that he showed in Captain America: Civil War. So that is clearly a new improvement being added in. And I mean,
that can only mean one man is probably doing it.
No. The people of Wakanda actually, one of the side people is actually said to actually be as smart as Tony Stark.
Oh.
So basically, Black Panther has his own Tony Stark with him.
You have a fly on your head.
Do I really?
I love that that's going to be in the video too. The fly just went right down. That was great. And he sat there for a good couple seconds.
Alright, well, anyways.
He got his 15 minutes of fame.
So, screw you, Fly. Anyways, as I was saying...
He was as smart as Tony. There's a Wakanda...
And you can see her in the trailer because she's the one that portrays, basically the Panther, guns, if you will. So she
it's
probably...
the paws that have...
She probably designs that.
Guns there.
And she probably makes improvements. This fly.
That fly loves you.
What the heck?
You're secretly Fly Man.
That's a terrible. I wish I was Spider-Man right now so I could just. But anyways, so she makes those guns, and she probably will be making the improvement to the Black Panther suit through the film, or at some point during the film. And you can also see that there are multiple villains.
Michael B. Jordan
for him
looks like one.
He's one. Then you have the one that was introduced in Age of Ultron. Good God, what is this fly doing? This is so annoying. We're trying to do a video, and it is being the true definition of a bug right now. It is bugging the hell out of me.
It's hilarious on my part because it's not even bothering me.
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, you also have the...
And then you have the ape...
what was he?
The guy that basically he kills this the white gorilla, bathes in his blood, and that's how he gets his powers. So, there's that guy.
And then you have
the Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of guy.
Well, you have the voiceover of T'Challa's father.
Yeah,
in the
so
end of
we'll
the
probably
movie.
maybe get some flashbacks that maybe involve him, or at least him voicing over some memories.
And it's like the best part of the trailer is that end where he says, "You're a great king, and you're a nice guy, but you can't be." Or no, what is it? You're too nice of a guy, and kings cannot be nice guys, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Kind of challenging him to be much more violent than he is.
What's kind of predicted from his aspect, from him doing the voiceover, and from the aspect of
kind of teaching T'Challa.
Yeah, him teaching him, and him having passed away in Civil War, and him being the previous Black Panther. I could see that maybe the two suits' differences are like the suit was maybe like his. Like you could see that maybe that at one point it was a flashback.
Yeah.
Because it shows the Black Panther kind of like perched up and he attacks like the military.
Yeah.
And so that could be his father. And then like later on in the film when he gets improvements to the suit and everything,
then that's T'Challa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can totally see that. And really, we're not going to be able to get much more out of the movie right now than what we've been shown. But right now,
there are 3 villains of some sort.
Just like in every superhero movie, 3 villains.
Seems to be the really big push nowadays. Is 3. Or at least multiple. More than 1.
We can talk about that with some Suicide Squad stuff as well.
Spider-Man has 2. Spider-Man Homecoming, Shocker, and Vulture. I mean...
A lot of people just having 3
so
villains.
Much going on. You got 3 superheroes
but I will
in that film. And yes, I did say 3, because there is a 3rd.
I will say that...
Miles Morales.
We know he's there. And he's going to be Miles Morales.
Batman's going to show up.
That actually brings me to a tweet from Jeff Johns we'll talk about a little bit later. Let's go ahead and hop on back.
Ryan Reynolds made a tweet earlier.
It was a Facebook mention.
Oh, it's a Facebook mention?
It was a Facebook mention.
Oh, okay.
But I will say Black Panther before we hop back onto DC. Black Panther looks extremely good. If it sticks to what the teaser showed, looks great. It looks like it's just going to stay in line with what Marvel does, and that's just good movies.
What also seems to be like kind of more colorful too, sort of like how their recent films have been, like with the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're making Thor Ragnarok kind of like that. They're making it more like kind of colorful, like more actually it's like a comic book feel.
Perfect counteraction to what DC does, which is the grit.
Where they're darkening everything down.
Well, that's kind of what DC Comics are about, though. It fits the style of the comics. DC Comics are much more darker toned, and Marvel's, however they do have their dark moments, is much more of a lighter, uplifting comic. For the most part. Secret Empire, not so much.
Well, continuing with Black Panther news as well, not talking about the movie that will be coming out in February, but talking about filming that is taking place as Mark Ruffalo has been spotted with a I believe a selfie with
T'Challa.
Yes,
I always forget the actor's name.
Chad something I think. But yeah, so they have a photo. So the Hawk is filming in Wakanda with Black Panther. So Hawk is returned to Earth come Infinity War. Whether they show him returning in Thor Ragnarok or whether he returns in the Infinity War.
I hope it's during a fight and he just meteorites.
Well, if you think about it though, it does show Thor on Earth with Doctor Strange at one point. So, but then again, it didn't show Hulk with him. But maybe they didn't want to tease that yet because you think about it, that post-credit scene did happen forever ago. They didn't want to tease that just yet. So it's possible that maybe he was sitting in a chair next to him. They just didn't show that.
Maybe.
My predictions here, folks.
Your predictions.
Hey, our predictions for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 were pretty on point.
They were. We were pretty good. Howard the Duck did make his cameo. Okay, let's hop back onto the DC train and go over to Suicide Squad. Because there's been a couple of talks, not only just Suicide Squad-wise, but with Suicide Squad's Joker, a.k.a. Jared Leto's Joker, possibly being involved with some other stuff. We'll start with the Suicide Squad-based news, and from what we've got there, we've got that apparently it's being discussed. Early ideas for Suicide Squad. Now, this all comes from an internet site that, like, internet legend says you don't want to say their name. So we won't say their name. But they're stating that apparently early ideas have been discussed for Suicide Squad 2, including they'll have Maxwell Lord from Metropolis, well known for being on Supergirl, as part of a smaller DC situation.
And those of you that don't really know much about him, the best way that I could relay him to you, or describe him in any way, would be pretty much Supergirl's version of Lex Luthor.
Yep. I looked him up not knowing much about him when I heard the news, and yeah, that's pretty much the best way to put him. He's Lex Luthor 2.0. And they've also talked of either Bane or Scarecrow being a villain. Personally, I like the idea of Bane because it gives Croc something to do. But I did talk about Scarecrow and his spear toxin.
Well, we also talked about Scarecrow possibly being in the Batman film. So
maybe there's a tie-in?
It could be, if they did do that route, it could be a tie-in, or it could be, if they put Scarecrow in this film, maybe he wouldn't be in the Batman film.
That's a possibility.
Or, I don't know.
Personally, I like the idea of Bane
it's up in the air.
Being a villain because it at least gives Croc someone he can try and fight one-on-one.
Well, yeah, because I also sort of think that, based off of the other thing that you did tell me that we will say in just a second, I think that maybe Scarecrow is the villain that they will be running with for Batman as like one of the other villains anyways, because we discussed there's going to be like 3. So I think that maybe they should run that angle, have Scarecrow show up in that, and then they could run Bane here, so it introduces more, rather than using the same people. Or, I mean, I could see Scarecrow in both roles. I mean, I really could.
I mean, the way I put it
Give them some more airtime, which I'm not complaining, because personally
Scarecrow
I think
awesome.
He deserves the bigger spotlight. I mean, he really hasn't been pushed that well.
He is amazing. He's an amazing villain.
So,
I love Crane. Crane is great. But I brought up that one thing that would be cool with Scarecrow is the fear toxin, and the coolest person to do it with is Deadshot. It's Will Smith, so he's going to get plenty of screen time. That's in his contract. Like 60% of the movie has to be on his face. So, this is not me trying to be mean to Will Smith. It's just that's what always the movie seems to be. A lot of Will Smith. So, like, he's going to have a lot of screen time. So, if you're going to use Scarecrow, fear toxin, right to Deadshot. Let's say he's got his sight down on his mask. He's got Scarecrow in range. He's about to take a shot. Fear toxin hits. He pulls the trigger, and what he sees him shooting at is his daughter. And he starts to flip out, trying to stop the bullet or push his daughter out of the way to stop her from getting shot. That would be not only one of the most heartbreaking type of situations to give to a killer type of character.
But, I mean, I think that's
a great way to work fear toxin.
Would also really help pushes the whole darker feel as well. I mean, DC is supposedly trying to do this darker universe.
That's what New 52 is all about.
And so that really would push the film to a darker level.
Seeing Deadshot nearly
this is another a side note. Unfortunately, I had to keep taking side notes, but interesting tidbit here.
Oh.
The fact that I just said DC is trying to do a darker universe. You see the resemblance in here? The fact that Universal is trying to call their universe Dark Universe, DC was in talks of basically suing.
Really?
Or maybe it was Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers or DC was going to sue Universal because of them saying that their universe was Dark Universe. They were going to sue them.
I could see Warner Brothers trying to do it. Not a smart idea.
Smart idea. That's something interesting. I mean, just thought I'd put it out there while I thought about it.
To finish off the Suicide Squad news, Killer Frost will be added to the team apparently, and Diablo will make his return. So I love the idea of Killer Frost.
Who makes the return?
Diablo.
Oh.
So we're going to get fire and ice.
He didn't die.
Nope. So we're going to be getting fire and ice.
All right then.
And
interesting. I like this. More or less, I like the Killer Frost aspect.
Oh, I love Killer Frost. She's a great character.
Now, I wish that it would be the same
actor. It's not going to be
actor.
Danielle Panabaker, even though that would be great. Danielle Panabaker is awesome.
He is a really phenomenal actor.
She.
Oh, yeah.
She.
Dude,
did you just call Danielle Panabaker a guy?
Let me say this. Okay, first of all, one, I clearly am having an off day.
You clearly are.
Two, I processed Killer Frost as Captain Cold. For some freaking reason, I processed it as Captain Cold. So you can see... At least
you kept it in the Flash.
You could see... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they were both the same thing. So I thought that it was Captain Cold. And so I was like, oh, yeah, get the same actor that was in Prison Break that played him. I was like, ooh, that's why I was excited.
And then I said Danielle Panabaker.
And then I ignored you saying the name, and my mindset was still on Captain Cold. So it wasn't the fact that you said the name, and then I was trying to say he. It was literally my mindset was still stuck on Captain Cold. Like.
Oh my god. Well, yeah.
Captain Cold would have been phenomenal too, but no, I still think that Killer Frost. Yes, that's a good choice too.
Danielle Panabaker.
They both still have the same kind of aspect. Both have to do with ice.
Mm-hmm. I would love Danielle Panabaker.
You can sort of see where I was getting my mind confused.
I can see it.
But yeah, long day.
It's been a rather long episode so far. But nonetheless, we'll hop into another kind of Suicide Squad-y thing, talking about the Joker. And the fact that, we've gotten some news on the Batgirl. About to go into production. It will apparently, this comes from that same site that we will not mention, apparently the Batgirl movie will focus on Barbara's mindset after regaining use of her legs and the trauma from, of course, getting shot in the spine by the Joker.
Interesting.
And apparently there is going to be a flashback scene with the Joker in the film. Which my mind automatically goes to this, aka giving us the greatest scene in comic book history, aka the Killing Joke, where he shoots her in the midsection. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for saying that's one of the greatest scenes in comic book history, but it's so good. When he shoots Barbara, it's like one of the most just, why? But in the same time, it's just, oh my god, that's great. I'm ecstatic if we get to see her get shot in the midsection.
What also, again, that still also helps push the aspect that they're trying to make it darker.
Oh, yeah. It's the New 52. It's as dark as it gets, pretty much. And if they really want to push the bar as far as it can go in the way of kind of almost, I don't want to say putting fear in the hearts of the viewers or really trying to make them connect with the character, the best way to do it is show Barbara getting shot by the Joker. Not only will it make everyone hate the Joker even more, but it'll also give you more emotional attachment to Barbara now knowing that she just regained use of her legs from being paralyzed.
Well, yeah, and I mean, also, it shows how, like, messed up, like, it basically shows this Joker actually takes initiative and actually doesn't mess around. I feel like the Jokers that we've seen in the past on live haven't really actually done anything significant. Like, it's more or less been kind of a threat, and they haven't really, like,
I mean, Ledger blew up a hospital.
Okay, but I mean, like, a threat to other, like, heroes or anything like that. He hasn't, like, they never actually kill anybody.
Well, yeah, like the Joker here tries to actually go after somebody unbeknownst to him, close to
and also, Batman. It's kind of hinted at Batman vs. Superman that Joker maybe killed Robin.
Well, yeah.
Possibly.
We pretty much know that.
So, I like the fact that we're getting a darker
it's
feel.
It's so good. Also, to note, apparently from the same site, Penguin will be the main villain, which is an interesting way to run
the main villain of
Batgirl. So that will be an interesting way to see the Penguin.
That kind of goes hand in hand with what I was talking about earlier with the fact that I think that they should run with Bane possibly for Suicide Squad 2, because then that announcement of Penguin being for Batgirl sort of makes me feel like Scarecrow is the decision that they went upon maybe for Batman.
Yeah, instead of going with Josh Gad.
Because wasn't it Scarecrow or Penguin?
That's what it kind of looked like. It could be that. I mean, I brought up.
I'd say for process of elimination, unless they use the character, because we've seen Joker is crossing over into other things. So I guess it's possible Scarecrow could be in two things, or Penguin could be in two things. So I can see that.
It'll be interesting to see what the final choice goes to.
If they're trying to make just everybody show up at least once, rather than casting the same one, then I could see that they spread it out like that.
Well, it's time to get to the big news. All about the Justice League reshoots. There is a ton of news coming from the reshoots. We'll start with the one that I'm most excited about, and at 2 o'clock in the morning last night made me geek out harder than I ever have. Okay, I take that back. Not that hard, but close to it. Danny Elfman, well known as the composer of Nightmare Before Christmas, and he's worked alongside Tim Burton for a number of movies. I believe he also did Beetlejuice's scores, other than, of course, the Henry Belafonte tracks. But Danny Elfman has joined Joss Whedon on the reshoots, which means that Danny Elfman is doing the score for the Justice League. I love it. I want some more of it. I can't get enough of it. Danny Elfman is amazing. If you haven't seen his jokingly score of Donald Trump following Hillary Clinton during the debates, it's one of the greatest things ever. I highly suggest you look at it because it's hilarious. But he scored clips of Trump following Hillary into pretty much a serial killer situation. It was great. But he will now be doing, looks like, some scoring for Justice League, at least during the reshoots. So that'll be fun to go on. That'll be fun to see when the final product gets done, as well as we gotten some set photos which may just show that I guess we're going to get a Hall of Justice. The Hall of Justice, well known by people like me when you were like 4 or 5 watching cartoons. The Super Friends. They worked out of the Hall of Justice. That was my first experience with the Hall of Justice. Of course, now it's kind of second base command for the Justice League in the comics.
So that's happening in Justice League.
We believe there were set photos, and you didn't see the whole thing, but the tip top of the building looked very reminiscent of the Hall of Justice.
So maybe they're doing that, and then maybe later they'll
do the Watchtower.
Yeah.
I was hoping we get the Watchtower now, but I'm fine with the Hall of Justice. That got me excited as well. I'm really happy that we're going to see the Hall of Justice as well. And now we'll head into some big rumors that have kind of skyrocketed into something that people are kind of looking at it and taking it as more than they should, and Jeff Johns is trying to shut them up about it. People believe that the Justice League reshoots done by Joss Whedon may I can't talk today either, apparently. They may change very pivotal parts of the movie. A lot of people believe that the reshoots that Joss Whedon is doing is going to change the movie itself.
Possible.
Now, I'm on the side that says it's not, because I fully believe that Joss Whedon's going to give us the movie that Zack Snyder wanted. One, because of the situation that led Zack Snyder out of the director's chair, as well as, Joss has been there for most of the shoots.
He would, if he was supposedly working along Zack Snyder, then I think that he would know what was already kind of intended to go for. Anyways, I don't see him actually changing anything that major, anyways.
The Danny Elfman edition just makes me think they might be going a little bit darker on some spots in the movie with music, but from just that's not a big enough change to say, oh, the whole movie is going to change. But I don't think these reshoots are going to change the whole movie. They're going to change anything dynamic about it. It's just going to be Zack Snyder's movie with Joss Whedon helping out. And one thing I liked, Jeff Johns was tweeting to he just goes on Twitter and does things the best way you can. He decided, since everybody's talking about how the reshoots are going to change the movie indefinitely, he added his 2 cents. They're also going to have the Amazing Spider-Man and Scooby-Doo in the movie.
He said that.
Yes. He was joking around with people pretty much saying, everybody was talking about how Joss Whedon was going to change the movie. He decided to say, hey, he's going to have Spider-Man and Scooby-Doo in the movie. Which, I hate to say it, but Scooby-Doo would have made sense because it's a Warner Brothers property. If he had actually
crossovers
they're doing one with Supernatural, fun little fact there this season. But if he had put another Warner Brothers product in there, like Bugs Bunny or something, I would have thought he was entirely serious.
I could have too, because you could have just seen at least a poster, or maybe some kid was
something
watching
like
a Scooby-Doo movie.
But
or something.
he put Spider-Man in there, and I'm like, okay, this is just.
You could still have that. You could see somebody watching.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
No, one of the old Spider-Man movies, like somebody's watching.
They're watching Spider-Man 3.
Yep, editor's cut, which is no different.
Oh Lord, they're watching Spider-Man 3, and I could see it though. But yeah, he pretty much went to Twitter just to try and shut people
Ooh,
up.
one of the shots for Venom. That then leads into their other.
No.
It leads to
no
Dark Side.
But. Yeah, he was having fun with that on Twitter. I don't think it's going to be changing much at all. I think we'll stick to what's there, that movie. And finally, this is a big thing. Because what did you and I say when we originally got everything going with Justice League? Our first talk was, when is Supes coming back? I said the right thing to do is start part 2 with him coming back.
I also said last week that he shouldn't come back.
Yeah, which I fully endorse that.
Just because of the fact that Wonder Woman is better than him.
I fully endorse that fact as well. But it looks like, now I'm not sure if he's coming back. It may just be flashbacks or something to that effect. But Henry Cavill is currently on the set, and I even put my notes a big frowny face because I'm not happy Soup's on set. He is, though, wearing his blue and red, no black outfit. And if we still do believe the early rumors that came out, the black outfit is what he'll be returning in. So maybe it is flashbacks. Might be some flashbacks, so we may not getting the actual return of Superman just yet.
Which I'm fine with flashbacks, because then maybe that will help his storyline. Maybe.
It's not going to help me believe he's more human.
Well, I mean, supposedly the 30 minutes added on to Batman vs Superman really helps his story arc and helps Batman's story. It helps the movie in general. So maybe the flashbacks will help the past attempts to these characters even further.
Hopefully. One thing we can be for sure is Wonder Woman will help this movie.
But I definitely stand true to what we said when we originally were talking about Justice League, which is the aspect that I really hope that they do not have him come back in the first film, due to the fact that, I mean, one, that's just you're rushing things too much, and two, I don't really like that they make him seem that OP, like that they need him there in order to fend people off. I rather actually see these other heroes actually be able to do something and accomplish something on their own. Like, not always having to have him there to help. So I would prefer him to stay dead for at least the first film.
Yeah, I'm still in full agreement that he needs to come back maybe at the start of the second one. In the movie,
at the bare minimum post-credit scene, which is what I said.
Yeah, before. The post-credit scene is him coming back. But, just let Darkseid have his moment in the first movie. It's just all Darkseid. It's Darkseid getting the upper hand. Then, Supes comes back at the post-credit scene, and we see him return fully in part 2. That would make total sense.
Yeah.
But he is on set, a big frowny face from me. You can see it in my notes that I put a frowny face.
He does have a frowny face.
Cavill is back on set. I have nothing against Henry Cavill. I think he's a solid actor, but just Superman, man, don't like him. But that's all the news we got. Crazy stuff with the reshoots. A lot of DC news. And Marvel is, just sitting back doing their thing as Sony is pissing you off more.
Yeah, Marvel got that new Spider-Man trilogy announcement. We didn't say that earlier, so
I think
quick nod there.
Yeah, quick nod to the Spider-Man movies will be a trilogy with Tom Holland. So, I mean,
there was at one point I saw something that he is apparently possibly sticking to the role for 20 years.
I'm not gonna believe that. As that's, I think, where we'll leave it off. Tom Holland possibly being Spider-Man for 20 years. I would not believe that one bit. So thank you guys for joining us for this episode, the Casual Comic Cast. A lot of news covered. A lot of different stuff going over. Tom Holland is not going to be Spider-Man for 20 years. And
one could only hope.
As long as he works out.
Good news with him, though, before we end it.
Yeah.
Good news with having Tom Holland being a younger actor, though, and casting a younger Spider-Man, though. Is
you can't let him go.
Well, yeah. If he doesn't want to do the role anymore, you actually are fine. Unlike with an older actor, you can't really replace them because then it's obvious to the fans. Whereas
Peter could grow up.
A younger Peter, he can grow up. You could just sort of take him in a couple years into the future, get a new actor. You can still have him in the same universe.
Yep.
So Marvel was smart with this decision.
They were.
Really smart. I just got to give it to him for that. But there we go.
Big thumbs up to Marvel. They don't get the Matt Staten frowny face.
Yeah. You wanted to end with DC, but I brought it back to Marvel.
When
there's a will, there's a way. Got to push Marvel over the hill. Woo!
Joss Whedon reshoots. That's all I gotta say.
Marvel. Spider-Man Homecoming is coming out in 2 weeks.
It's coming out in exactly a month from exactly when we're recording this. It's the 17th.
Month.
7.
It comes on the 7th.
Oh, you're right.
That's why I just said 2 weeks. That's possibly 3 weeks.
I was thinking 7/7/17.
No, it comes out on the 7th. We will be singing on the 6th.
It's 7/7/17. That's what I remember, and I saw the 17, and I thought 17. Okay, we're done. This is the end of it.
We're yakking too much.
We are. Remember, guys, you can call yourself a nerd. You don't have to know everything.